Travolting presents The Fraser's Edge. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering Monkeybone. With special guest, Mark Tilley.
While we're recording.
Oh.
Was that the intro you had planned? Wait a minute. I think I have one better.
I told you to do the ooh ah before. He does not even do that at all in the movie. He's not very monkey.
He's not very monkey.
He's not a monkey at all.
No wait, I got even
He's
better.
not a monkey.
Sounds kind of like, he's John Turturro.
He's just a boner.
He's
not a monkey. He's just a boner.
With me going, everyone's like, ah, in the scene.
All right, so folks, do you remember watching an early 2000s movie where two people with two different personalities ended up swapping bodies and one causing mayhem, the other one's life, while the other one tries to focus on getting their body back? Mm-hmm. If you think I'm talking about the 2003 movie Freaky Friday, you are mistaken. I am instead talking about the 2001 movie Monkeybone. That was the intro that I had planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll use. I'm going to start from the monkey screaming.
My scream.
And we'll let the audience decide which one I should have started us in.
Okay. Well, yeah. Now that we've litigated our intro already,
we're in the episode.
Welcome, folks, to our episode on Monkeybone. We're joined
to a great start.
After a long time. Once again, we're joined by Mark Tilley.
I'm back. And Cole Bradley, I'm coming for you. Is it 6? What is it, 6?
What's Cole at? Let me see.
I don't know.
So our Travolta
Better not be
Instagram
6.
actually has like the yearly recap, and it was Ange Gardner did a
we were tied.
I think
That's
so.
what I saw. I don't want to know if he recorded one since then.
I don't think so. Right?
For
most appearances, Cole Bradley and Mark Tilley tied for 5. That was as of the 2022
Did
Wrapped.
he not do one with you recently, though?
that was the end of 2022. Yeah,
he has another one up soon.
His
though, right?
last one was in October for The Passion of Darkly Noon.
Okay.
He hasn't decided if he's doing The Quiet American yet.
So this makes him 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're now ahead of Cole.
You're now ahead of Cole.
Take that, you motherfucker.
Sorry. He had to say it.
Had to say it. He simply had to say it.
Yeah. So Mark Tilley now our most he's joined the 6-timers club.
Number 1 with a bullet. Number 1.
Number 1, baby.
Call it the Tilley Club.
Yep.
Because he was the only one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Party of 1.
The Tilley
Is there
Club.
6 letters in Tilley?
There is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's had one appearance for every letter of his last name.
So now for now on, if anybody else gets in the 6-timers club, it's going to be called the Tilley Club.
Mm-hmm.
The Tilley
Yep.
Club. Yes.
What do we call the 5?
Cole's gonna be so mad when we induct him into the Tilley Club. He's gonna be furious.
Because I'm thinking, what can we call the 5-timers club?
The fucking Losers Club is what you can fucking call
loser.
it.
That's 6 letters.
Loser Club.
Bradley
Losers
is
fucking
6.
Losers fucking
Bradley's
5
actually-
letters, bro.
Bradley's actually 7.
Fucking shit.
Cole's club. Because
Cole's Club.
well, because COLES,
Yes.
that's 5 letters. Cole's club. Because
This
Cole's still in the 5
Yeah.
the 5
Cole's Club.
members club.
This is what people sign up for: is us litigating what we're gonna call our in-jokes.
So we have Cole and Cole's club.
Yes.
We have Tilley and Tilley's club. And then
We'll figure out
Fucking
7.
incredible names for our clubs, by the way. Gotta tell you.
we're working very hard on this. All right, enough monkeying around, guys.
Yeah, back into monkey.
We got to get down to the bone marrow on this thing.
Yeah. Oh, that was sweaty. So first, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our episode last week on Bedazzle with Will Angelico. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Oh, my God.
We're talking about another movie with multiple personalities in it.
Yeah.
Where Fraser plays a lot of different people.
Yeah.
It's kind of becoming a bit of a shtick for him.
A little bit.
Not like not in an excessive way, but this is something of a trend that he's played multiple personalities.
Well, and unfortunately speaking, it's not in like the serious thespian actor
Yeah, it's
way.
not like Split.
It's not like Split. It's
Not-
like Fraser plays Fraser
Split's
as
still like a pulp movie.
one
don't
of
get me
Fraser's
wrong.
personality is what I call Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
The other one is called losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 personalities he plays.
Yes.
This is not James McAvoy's Split doing very subtle things. No. On one hand, you get Brendan Fraser going, I need to get back to my body, guys. Like, this thing is terrible. And then cut to the next personality. Like,
He's like,
thank you, Jeff.
No, by the time he's playing fucking Monkeybone, I don't even know what's going on in the movie. I don't even know what's happening.
oh, this movie is borderline
can't even-
incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible.
And offensive.
Incomprehensible.
Very offensive.
This
This is a very offensive movie.
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Oh my goodness.
Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator.
From hell.
Oh my God. There is interesting pretext to this movie, though.
Yes.
Which I know a little bit about. Maybe I.
Does Stuart want to do the context corner?
Maybe I do a little bit of the context corner.
Do we want to recap Fraser first before we go into the context of the movie?
Sure. I mean, it's kind of what we've already said and talked about, that at this point, you know, Fraser's had his cap-off film with The Mummy. Next week, we're going to talk about The Mummy Returns.
Yes.
We
will return.
The long-awaited sequel that was greenlit the day the movie was released.
Yes. And by long away, we mean in a little under 2 years.
Yeah.
since the first one came out.
But he's had his cap-off movie. He's now a name actor. He's drawing in the crowds. Like, his face.
He's A-list.
his
He's
name.
above the title.
He's A-list. What did you say, Jeff?
He's above the title.
Above the title?
Yeah.
That's a good name for a podcast.
Yeah. Plug in Nicole.
But still the second choice for this movie, though.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. He was second fiddle under Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that. But just to quickly cap off like Fraser. So like he's done, you know, the Ricochet O'Connell action hero. Shortly after, though, when he caps off with The Mummy, we see him doing kind of going, I won't say going back, but fitting in his little shtick that we call like the blast from the past like shtick.
Yeah.
And what we mean by that, it's like, you know, Blast from the Past, he was like the happy dumb goof.
Yeah.
And Blast from the Past was a perfect, like, it was a perfect box for Fraser. Yeah. And then we get more replications of that, like in Dudley Do-Right. Yeah. He's the dumb goof. And the lovable dumb goof, though. And then he's like a little bit of a goofball in Bedazzled. That one's got a little bit more layers to it, but not much. It's still kind of like he's sort of like the down on his dumps guy who's likable, but has got his own problems to sort out. And then we get Monkeybone, which is, again, it's almost like when you said Bedazzled, like it's almost verbatim a little bit, kind of what Bedazzled sort of does with his career. He's playing like a down on his dumps guy who is gifted in some ways, but suffers from a certain long-running problem, whereas Bedazzled, he wasn't very sociable, couldn't find a girl, needed extra planar help from the heavens to get him what he wants, but it backfires on him. So he has to figure a way to get around that deal, and only through realizing what he was missing the whole time is his key to his salvation. It's the exact same in Monkeybone. Yeah. It's literally the exact same. So I want to say, though, that these movies just come out a year apart from each other, so it's hard. It's hard to say with Monkeybone being a reaction.
But my guess, though, is that Monkeybone shoots in 1999, all the live action stuff.
Yeah.
The year Mummy comes out, so it's not a reaction part to the success of The Mummy,
right?
Because there's probably been no reception to that movie is not come out yet, maybe, or it. Yeah, I don't know, but I know that, like, I feel like all the live action stuff was shot in 1999, and then Selick gets to work on all the stop motion,
which takes a while.
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
Then there's probably all the fighting and there's all the stuff like that before it's released in 2001 or 2000.
And maybe it was more so like
it's 2001.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more so a Sinbad Beyond the Veil of Mist situation.
Yeah.
Where they realized they were sitting on a gem here.
Well, no, I think it really
Beyond the Veil of Mist. Jesus.
I think it's very much like Fraser. You know, I want to talk about something else that's happening in Fraser's career at this time. And that is that he almost gets cast as Superman around this time.
Oh.
Is it even an almost, though? Because the first note the first thing I noted at the top of this movie, and I've been saying to you for years, is that, like, motherfucker, he'd have been the best Superman.
He would have been so good as
Superman. He'd have been so fucking good.
And I think, and that is very much like, everything we're talking about.
Is this around the same vein of like the Nicolas Cage Tim Burton Batman that we're talking about?
This is after.
So this is not the same project.
This is Superman Flyby.
Yeah, Warner Brothers has been trying to figure out Superman for like 15 years at this point, ever since Quest for Peace imploded.
Well, and also when Christopher Reeves had his accident. Yeah.
And so they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next for Superman.
Yeah.
The Tim Burton one, which was Superman
Lives.
What's it called? Superman Lives.
Yeah.
Is the 90s.
It gets very far, never gets made. Then they kind of spin their wheels for a little bit. The next project that gets the closest to being made is Superman Flyby, which is written by J.J. Abrams.
It's a weird script.
It's a very strange script.
Yeah.
Fraser comes very close to being like asked to be Superman in that movie.
And it's so crazy to think that also Cavill's also...
Yeah, Henry
Cavill doesn't test for Flyby, does he?
He tested for Flyby. Henry Cavill tested for Superman Flyby.
In 2000?
In 2000, yeah, around 2002.
What was Henry Cavill in 2000?
He's like in his he's like 20 then, right? Or
early to mid 20s.
But he's in is he
like
name?
33 when he's in Man of Steel.
Yeah,
so
but
he's like in his 20s.
Yeah.
He's nobody. He just looks like fucking. He looks like
that's their bar.
Yeah. No,
their bar is looks like.
There's pictures of him in the suit. Like
Henry Cavill has the unfortunate thing of being passed over for 3 major roles in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
He auditions for Superman Flyby. Then he auditions for Superman Returns. Gets very close. He's the second runner-up for Returns. Doesn't get it. He auditions for Bond.
Casino Royale. Yeah.
Casino Royale. Gets very close. They pick Daniel Craig because they want to do it with a more grizzled, slightly older Bond. He almost gets cast as Jacob, or is it Edward in Twilight?
It's Edward.
Edward. He almost gets cast as Edward in Twilight. He's the runner-up to Robert Pattinson. So he's the runner-up for Superman, James Bond, and Twilight in the 2000s.
I mean, one of those things we can be thankful for that he didn't get casted in.
But Pattinson has had an incredible career since then. So like it would have still been
on Pattinson's part, not on Twilight's part.
But so Henry Cavill never like keeps getting so close to these things and never getting them. And then he finally gets his big shot 10 years later with Man of Steel. And the movie comes out and people like don't like it. And then he does 2 sequels and people don't like them.
Worked out well.
And then he pops into The Witcher and people kind of like it. It gets an okay reception, and then he leaves the show to play Superman again, and they fucking cancel the whole universe.
Just to bounce back to The Witcher, like as mildly popular it was, the people that did like it fucking loved it. A small group, but they fucking loved it.
I just...
Which you could say that for any like property that it's got a small fanatic like following, but I know The Witcher was like crazy.
No one has had worse luck in Hollywood than Henry Cavill. And that his entire 2000s are a wash.
I don't know. He's getting paid. There's a lot of actors that are working.
And that's why I'm saying worse luck in Hollywood.
There are actors sleeping in their cars, Jeff.
Yeah. I'm not counting fucking like Tom Bombadil trying to get his fucking trying to get
the worst luck in Hollywood. Jesus Christ! All the actors listen to this
Tom
right
Bombadil
now.
Worst luck of a major movie star.
Worst luck of a major movie star. Heaven forbid.
I just think it's funny that his entire 2000s are a wash. He finally gets his big shot. People don't like it. He then gets something that people do like, and then he leaves it to go back to the Superman thing, and they cancel the fucking universe.
Man of Steel kind of underrated.
I like Man of Steel. I don't like the sequels. I like Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel's pretty good.
He pops up in Black Adam at the end to be like, "Hey, look, I'm back," and then they're like, "No more of this. We're recasting. Bye."
But goddamn, Brendan would have been good, wouldn't he?
But he would have been perfect.
Perfect.
And I think that's the inherent core of one half of the Fraser dynamic at this time, is that he's lovable, kind-hearted, goofy,
but can do the action star.
Yeah, but he's still like he has a heart of gold. He's all these things with the heart of gold, and that's Superman.
Yeah, the Boy Scout.
He's getting, and he said he's kind of happy that the Superman movie didn't work out because he didn't want to become a one-trick pony. And I think that's really Fraser's downfall at this time, is that Hollywood pigeonholes him into the one-trick pony zone. Because in all these movies, he's playing the big lovable galoot, or he's playing sad guy who has to become the lovable galoot.
Because sure, maybe he would have gotten tied down to Superman, and that might have. It might not. Mummy Returns might not have happened.
Yeah,
maybe probably would have happened.
Mummy Returns would have happened. Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
I wish it hadn't happened, but fucking but his 2 follow-ups, so his big action role where he should have gotten pigeonholed as like a comedy action guy are bedazzled in this movie,
Yeah,
Monkeybone, where
that-
he plays
that is a good point.
where he plays
That is a good
lunatics,
point.
and so he doesn't get to do the
Yeah.
bounce off to a different
Yeah.
character like like Rick O'Connell. He
'Cause
doesn't get to do that again in
Yeah.
a different guy until like he does like Looney Tunes, but like
Yeah.
he never gets to again do the sort of like
Journey to the center of the earth.
yeah, but which is like but he never gets to do
More.
But
of
you're
that.
right.
yeah.
Like
so
of all,
he's not. I wouldn't say he's pigeonholed. I'd say he's
but of
he's
the,
held back.
of
Yeah.
the two
He's-
things we would have preferred him to be pigeonholed by.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it wasn't the Mummy Returns.
Because we've talked about
Ricochet
how
O'Connell.
he's like
'Cause
very.
he doesn't even do like an Airheads again. He doesn't even get to do like a proper
doesn't get to do a Passion of Darkly Noon ever again.
yeah.
Because we've talked about how like there's elements of Hollywood that have said like they were trying to make him the new Harrison Ford at the time, and the thing that's worthy of mentioning is Harrison Ford is in Star Wars, then he does the sequel Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and Blade Runner. He doesn't let himself become like the sci-fi guy essentially.
Yeah.
He just like he's smart with his career and he doesn't have the same studio forces working against him that Fraser does.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about like our big thing with Fraser is that he's a very egoless actor.
He's egoless and he's lovable.
Yeah.
But his career post Mummy doesn't really allow him to be lovable.
He's a yes man who's willing to like just do
Yeah.
whatever he's got to do for the movie.
yeah.
He'll be crazy. He'll go nude. He'll run around like a monkey. He never says no. It's how he got himself. It's how like he got to the point where he got injured heavily on set. 'Cause he's like, yeah, I'll do one more. I'll do that stunt. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I just want to help you out make this movie. He's a very kind soul.
Yeah. Which
And-
bites him in the butt.
Yeah, because like it comes to a movie like this where I think he's good in this movie, but like that movie doesn't go anywhere. And then it just kind of continues that like, oh, he's playing the crazy, like all zany guy. The sad guy who has to learn to be lovable.
Yeah.
Because he only, even when he's playing sort of like his most normal version at the beginning of this movie, where he's just playing
Yeah.
depressed,
He's
sort
still
of
a-
Stu Miley.
Yeah. He's still a
Yeah.
nasty little freak.
We'll get into the movie, but Stu Miley is a very weird character
Yeah.
in that it's like, Let me know when you want to get into it because it's weird, man.
Stuart, he does play a character named Stuart in this movie.
I know.
I thought you were
I'm very
sure
aware. Very. Oh, don't you?
Yeah.
You think I'm aware? I'm aware. Yeah.
We're getting close to talking about the plot. So, Stuart, did you want to talk about
Yeah,
the making
I
of
want
this
to. I want to
movie?
talk about this, the context of the movie itself, though, because the context of this is also very interesting. This is a movie pitched as sort of a strange blend between like dark black comedy that has very like adult oriented themes to it, but yet still with the like kid joke, like has a very strange like Adult Swim Cartoon Network vibes.
Yeah.
This is trying to be an Adult Swim movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this was actually when this is around the time Cartoon Network created Adult Swim for their late hour adult content.
Yeah.
What's interesting is this is based on the comic book called
Dark
Town.
Dark
Town. And it's was made by a Canadian cartoonist, and it was published in 95. And if you read this, if you read like the general plot of this, it screams Henry Selick or Tim Burton. Like it screams that vibe, like Coraline or Night Before Christmas. Like it's about a guy who gets in a coma in a car accident. It's very similar. It's literally the movie pulls exactly from this comic book, but just changes a couple things around, spins it to be a little bit more lighthearted, but it's essentially the same. Where like he gets in a coma, he's in like this weird nightmare realm, where the god of sleep is trying to take over his body to unleash nightmare. He has to like go find death, but the way that the comic book is sort of framed is more like Greek mythology but it is described as like a world of like, you know, living puppetry and marionettes and mannequins and things like that. Like it screams stop motion on like the cover of this comic book. And so, which when I'm thinking about it on paper, it makes perfect sense to make a movie with a cross blend of like live action, but bring Henry Selick in for the main direction to create all the puppetry things with it.
What's the major change Selick makes to this movie from that book? Is that he makes the main character a tortured cartoonist.
Yes.
Who everyone likes his stuff and wants to merchandise it and sell it and turn it into theme park rides.
Yep.
And McDonald's meals.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to do any of that because he cares about his art and his craft.
Yep.
And he isn't interested in working with the corporate stooges.
And he's got a little bit of a side personality that tries to egg him on to do it for the money.
Yeah.
That takes over for a short period of time and explodes in that realm.
Yes.
When his side personality decides to, I'm going to harness nightmares and sell nightmares to everyone. You know, it's like, it's
exactly.
literally
nightmares.
So,
and coincidentally, it's set before Christmas.
So
like
everything we just described to the audience screams like it should be a fucking great movie. It is not.
Yes.
This is a really terrible movie.
I don't know if I go terrible.
It's pretty bad.
It's probably the closest we'll ever come to all agreeing on a movie in terms of when I've been on. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's weird. And I think it was cut to fucking shreds.
Yeah.
But like...
this movie does scream like heavy studio interference.
Yes.
That it got cut to death on the cutting room floor and was just rejiggered in so many different ways.
Yeah.
This is my favorite genre of movie, where it's a movie about artists struggling with corporate interference, and then the movie gets interfered with by corporate.
I generally don't like movies like that.
Oh, they're always bad, but it's my favorite thing to discuss is like movie about corporations messing with the movies, and then the movie gets
Matrix Resurrections. Yeah, they're not all bad, Stuart. They're not all bad.
Matrix Resurrections is a good one, but that didn't really get messed with.
I thought Matrix Resurrections was too far up its own asshole.
Matrix Resurrections rules.
You're about to be too far up your fucking asshole.
I should preface that is a movie that I have self-agreed that I should watch it a second time. I've only seen it once.
Watch it in 10 years. Maybe grow up a little bit first.
Oh, Mark Tilley. He's doing the fisted cups.
You can have a swing at me.
Nah, my first impression on watching that movie was it was way too far up its own asshole for me. And that's the thing.
What's your impression of? Is your impression the same of this movie?
That's why when Jeff said like I love movies that have like its own like commentary on like studio interference, it's like any movie that any movie that's about itself, I'm not generally a fan of.
Sure.
Because it's the casino magic lounge magician trick of like, look at me and look how smart I am and outsmarting you guys. Being like, I'm writing a movie about this character who's a writer who's struggling with like creativity and stuff. Like, yeah, okay, cool. But guess what?
But what's weird about this movie is that Stu Miley is not struggling with creativity. I guess he's just kind of struggling with success and, his stuff making money like shit does. And he's like in those meetings and he's there and he signed up for them, but he seems depressed and he just wants to marry his girlfriend.
He's like, I'm so mad my movies hit a cultural nerve and everyone wants to have the art in their
house. His whole like
weird
pilot, his whole like 4-minute pilot about him being
sucks. Can we just say Monkeybone?
Everybody was like, hey, this cartoon is not good. And the whole cartoon is about him as this sort of like kid who was like sexually repressed and made fun of, but Stu Miley is not that. The movie is not about that. I guess Monkeybone like is this sort of thing that developed in his brain to like...
Well,
I don't even know what it's meant to like...
It's Monkeybone because it's his bone.
Yeah, no, I know that, but like it's meant to like... But it feels like it he never feels like haunted by Monkeybone's horniness. He's never like, oh, you're too this or you're too like...
And I have to say, I don't feel like this movie is solved with like raunchier humor, like an R rating. I really don't. Like watching this, it's like I feel like this is like the perfect amount of like raunchiness that's like tolerable in like, the early 2000s. Felt like if like adding a dick in one frame or actually having a sex scene wouldn't have made this movie any like more mature and therefore better for me.
Yeah,
like I felt like it.
Do you think it's solved with scenes that cut together or? What do you? I don't even know if it's solved by that.
No, I think it's not solved by that.
It's solved by a through line.
It's solved by a through line.
My favorite is the pea soup on his shirt.
Oh my god!
He just walks into frame and he has the green stain all over his robe. And the guy's like, "What happened there?" And apparently there's a scene where he like falls over on a bowl of pea soup.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's funnier if he just goes, "Oh, it's pea soup." I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
But this, I think that we're kind of in agreement. Like, I don't know who this movie is for.
Yeah.
And I think the movie's very confused on what it's supposed to be about and who are we supposed to be like really rooting for here, and like what end result are we like, what is the thing that if Stu Miley gets will make him happy? Like, we're led to believe that it's
a wife.
He
just wants his fucking wife.
Right. That's the whole thing. It's like, you mean to tell me he needs to like escape from the underworld and he sways death by saying there's a girl who I love. Bitch, you know how many dudes end up dead who probably tell the Grim Reaper like, oh, there's a girl that I never got to tell I love her. Can you give me like an hour back in the real world to like do that? You're like, sure, honey, we'll do that. I'm like, what?
But like that would work if the movie was more romantic, which it is not.
It's not. And it's not even like, I guess you could say this is a movie about Stu Miley, a comic artist who falls into a coma, and his horny Monkeybone possesses his body while he's in a coma and just wants to fuck his girlfriend.
But it doesn't even want to
do that. He doesn't even want to do that. And then the Monkeybone does propose to her, but it's just
and out of obligation.
And she can't sue you in court.
Yeah.
So
not easy to follow this movie. But it's also like, it's not like it's as incomprehensible as I'm talking about. It's just like,
there are things to talk about with this movie. I will say that. Like, there is a discussion to be had about the movie and all the different like environments it tries to put us in.
Maybe it's trying to follow too much of a through line. Whereas like Nightmare is just a series of bits and sort of just like gags, like visual gags that cut together, because that movie is very simple.
Yeah.
And James and the Giant Peach is just a movie that's like a series of visual gags. And
Nightmare on Elm Street is a movie about learning your fucking place.
yeah, stay in your fucking lane. That
movie's about.
Yeah, but I guess James and the Giant Peach is a good comparison, because that's another movie that blends real life with like the stop motion animation. But
I haven't seen that movie in probably 15 years.
Does
it have a real life element?
It has a real life element. It's at the top, and he swallows a glowing worm, and he turns into a little stop motion boy who's inside the peach. So there's never like, and then once it turns stop motion, everything's in stop motion in that movie. It only really has like 10 minutes of live action at the top.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's just live action.
There's live action at the top that's just live action.
And it looks so much better than in this fucking movie. Yeah. It's like stylized.
They lean into like the stylization of like the live action, where it's almost like
it's all like on stage, and it's all like
everything's
matte paintings,
very pointed,
like,
sharp, like
canted angles and stuff like that. Whereas
very
this is
angular.
just like really sort of like all the live action stuff is.
Yeah.
Until the stuff at the end, this movie's
stuff at the end is where.
When Catan jumps in here in the last
the movie kind
of
then
the movie starts to pick up and fucking rules, and you're kind of like, the movie I think needs Catan to get possessed at the top of the movie.
Yeah,
and then you kind of lose the Dark Town stuff of it all.
Yeah,
and it needs to just be a proper body swap comedy.
Yeah,
that's the other ultimate thing. It's like it turns into like a classic early 2000s body swap film.
The Bob Odenkirk chasing Catan is fucking hilarious.
It's so good
in this movie.
That's so good.
Is
perfect.
I was
Bob
laughing.
I think from the second Chris Catan gets possessed to the end of the movie, it's good.
The movie's got like an
I would say capital G good.
Capital G good. The movie has like an oops all bangers great fucking supporting cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
its strength, you know.
Thomas Hayden Church
Esposito,
uncredited as like the Grim Reaper.
He's uncredited, right? Like, yeah, he's not even in the. I feel like. Thank you. My toxic trait on this podcast is always just like wandering farther and farther back from this microphone.
I'm gonna turn your headphone level up so you can hear when you get far away from the mic.
Cut this out because I'm embarrassed. I'm
mortified right now.
It's fine. I'm mortified, and people are gonna be like, "How 6 times?"
It's fine. I can fix it. Like I can make people who don't talk in the mic very well sound good.
Should we kiss right now? Don't say what we just did. It's a secret. It's a secret.
It was real cute.
So, but to go all back, I feel like seeing this movie's like concept on paper.
Yeah.
Seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
Until you realize all the extra fluff they put into it.
Yes.
The body swapping thing, the wants to fuck his girlfriend but doesn't want to fuck his girlfriend, the fact that his whole entire purpose in this movie is that he wants a wife. Like, just cut all that shit out and just have it be like, he's in a coma. He's like, you could include the Monkeybone possessing his body and doing the whole like capitalistic rage thing, but you just make it more about like him discovering what he wants to come from his art.
Can I pitch this movie to you and it will sound good?
Sure. Go
this
ahead,
is a movie about an artist who's struggling with success, who in a main way that his art is all based on his repressed emotions and his repressed sexuality that he puts into this character named Monkeybone. He goes into a coma and he wakes up in a dreamland where where a physical representation of Monkeybone, his repressed emotions, is there. And the two of them have to find a way to become whole again and make it back to the real world.
Yeah.
That is the pitch of this movie.
That is a good pitch.
That is the pitch of this movie, and that sounds like a good movie.
Yeah.
I would see that. The problem is the movie decides, all right, we have this great idea. Just do all this other shit.
Well, and I think you can even add the Monkeybone possessing his body bit.
Yeah.
I think you can even
No, that can be that. And the repressed emotions take full control of the body.
And because that's the polar opposite of what he's currently doing. Because maybe there's a version of him that thinks maybe Monkeybone taking over my body is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it'll actually do the things I've been too chicken shit to do. But then you find out that, oh no, like if I just let Monkeybone take over my body, like it not only hurts me, it hurts the people I love.
Yeah.
It hurts my art.
Yeah.
It hurts all those things that I actually like gave a shit about. And that teaches you like, oh, like maybe like what I was doing before, which was like repressing Monkeybone and like making Monkeybone just a figment and nothing else and just externalizing it into my art.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way I can blend the two to expand on my art and expand on what I can do with it.
I need to stop repressing my nasty little freak side because it just makes me worse, and I need to harmonize with it and be a little bit of a nasty little freak.
This is starting to sound eerily close to a Jordan Peterson podcast. you need to
you guys
listen.
Like
everyone has a dragon. Everyone has a dragon, and you have to conquer the dragon to save the father in the belly of the beast.
Is that a thing?
That's a whole Jordan Peterson bit that he does.
Oh god.
It's the belly of the beast.
Have you conquered the dragon, Stuart?
I've conquered many dragons, Mark. One of them is sitting across from me. All right. I'll take a hit on that one.
I sound like such a boring like story structure guy, but it'll like he makes like no decisions in this movie. He sort of falls into a coma.
Yeah.
And then Monkeybone sort of like takes control and he's stuck down there and he kind of can't do anything. He tries to steal an exit pass but that's more of a goal than like some sort of like flawed decision he makes.
I think you really capped it off with what you just said, which is he doesn't
his flawed decision getting a boner in kindergarten. I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but he doesn't do anything in this movie. He really doesn't. He just kind of flails along in the dream realm and hell and all that stuff.
There's another movie with this same idea.
Town.
There's multiple movies.
No, where a character meets like a physical representation of his repressed side. And they have to become whole at the end.
The Lorax.
What? What is this movie? I'm trying to think about it.
There's multiple movies like this.
But what is the one I'm thinking of?
Well,
because there's a literal movie where a guy goes to another reality, meets his like repressed emotions, and has to reform with them by the end. Or like he has like an evil clone essentially, or twin who has to like combine with at the end and realize that's his full self. Because it's ringing such a bell in my head that
it is.
There's another movie with the same pitch.
You're right. It absolutely is. I'm struggling on thinking of like there's multiple, but I'm struggling to think of even just one.
Jeff is like crouched down and looking at his DVD shelf right now, just like scouring.
I've seen this fucking movie.
It's not X-Men Days of Future Past. Check that off the list. It's not Kick-Ass. Let me check that off the list.
It's not Lego Batman.
No, it's not Lego Batman.
I mean,
it's not the Water Horse. Why do you have the Water Horse? A 4K Steelbook collector's edition of the Water Horse? Sorry.
Oh my god.
Because of Winn-Dixie? The Last Mimsy? Like what? Wait, it's not that.
No, it's gonna bother me.
Yeah, like it's gonna bother me for the rest of this podcast.
Yeah, now that you've said it. But there absolutely is a movie about like going to a different realm to find your evil or other side.
Yeah, and you have to reforge with them by the end.
It is a Rick and Morty episode. I know that for sure.
Yeah, it's probably that's what I'm fucking thinking of. Is it's a Rick and Morty episode or something.
It's the episode where they go to that cleanse massage place and they go into this machine that cleanses their body. But what it really does is it separates the evil, gooey side of them. And it becomes an episode where the evil, gooey Morty and Rick have to fight the cleaned, washed up, good, happy Morty and Rick.
Yeah.
And then it turns out all they have to do is just combine the two of them back together.
And that becomes like the true version of yourself.
Fight Club? Is it Fight Club?
And maybe it's Fight Club. Maybe it's fucking Fight Club.
It might be Fight Club because isn't Tyler Durden like his other like side that he has? Yeah, I think that's a good callback comparison to it.
I'll take it. Is it Everything Everywhere All at Once? Is that what I'm thinking of?
It could be a lot of like those extra dimensional movies like that. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I came to a shocking realization about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
It's a bad movie.
I'll tell you off mic. Mark is actually aware of this.
True.
That I came to a shocking realization about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Why can't you just say it right now?
Wow, why can't you just say it?
You want me to just say it?
Just say it right now.
I realized it has to be the last movie I watch before I get married.
Why?
Because it's a movie I really like. Indiana Jones 5 comes out the week after my wedding.
The movie I really like was the first thing he said. Why do you have to watch it before you get married? Because it's a movie I really like.
It's a movie I really like. Indiana Jones 5 comes out a week after my wedding, and it's a movie about an adventurer settling down and getting married.
Can Becca hear us?
No.
Hey, Becca.
Wait. All right.
Becca.
We're talking about Monkeybone.
I hope she has.
I want her. We'll get her a fourth microphone. I feel like she needs to be a part of this.
You haven't told her yet, have you?
No.
Then she has to watch it with
Is Spider-Man No Way From Home a comparison?
No, because he has to get rid of him at the end. That movie's about getting rid of him. Get out of here.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
It's a movie where he's like, golly, you gotta leave. Go home.
These two shelves right here, Jeff, have to be the same type of shelf, right? But the MCU shelf is so much more warped than the President biography shelf. The heavy President biography shelf.
That's because that's quality IKEA construction, and this is Target.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Actually, this is Amazon. But
Amazon.
All right, Monkeybone. All right, so we've discussed the inherent problem with this movie. Do we want to just dive into it?
Yes, Stuart.
Now
you take it from here.
Now
Just
Stuart's trying to
movie.
find the movie.
Just recap the whole fucking movie, Stuart. Go. Do your thing. Let's go. Walk us through it.
Stuart is now trying to figure out what this movie is that I'm talking about.
I think it's
really like it's like because like we all know this movie exists.
It's 17 again. No, what is it?
I'm sorry, like it's really bothering me now too.
Yeah.
And so I'm having a real problem trying to
listener,
but your
tweet us ASAP.
But your distinction is that he has to go to a sort of like a dark shadow realm.
Essentially, like he meets another version of himself who he has to combine with at the end.
I know it's an Avatar episode, not Way of the Water, Last Airbender. It's absolutely a Last Airbender episode or a Legend of Korra episode. All right. I'm gonna try my best to get this out of my head because I'm that really fucking derailed me. But so Monkeybone,
yes,
the plot. So we start off with a montage of drawings. Yeah, someone drawing like a cartoon animation thing. Mm-hmm. We don't really quite know who is drawing or what they're drawing, but then after this like intro montage sequence, we then get to a theater. Little test screening theater, and it shows a cartoon animation of a little kid going to school. There's some voiceover to it. This little kid goes to school, and he's sitting in his classroom, and there's some voiceover narration of like, like my teacher, she was older, and when she would like write up on the chalkboard, those like old people, how they have the old arm flaps, and some people would think that'd be like unattractive, but for some reason my young 9-year-old brain thought it was very good looking. And then I started to feel a tingling sensation. And at this point, I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of a cartoon is this?
It's exactly the reaction I imagined him having.
And so, like, he's like, and then I started, like, having a tingling sensation coming from below. And the cartoon shows that he's, like, clearly getting a boner because of his teacher's arm flap. He starts sweating.
He's getting a monkey boner.
And so he's shoving books over his boner until eventually the kids start noticing they're laughing at him, and the
books can't contain the boner.
The
boner pops those books right off the boner.
Listen, if there was a book on how to like control a boner, the boner would just flip it upside down, and that's what happens in this movie.
It's really embarrassing for him.
Yes.
He's so mortified. He's embarrassed.
But then eventually the teacher comes and says, like, what do you have underneath your books or whatever? What's going on? And then what happens is the books flip over, and then a monkey rips out of his pants, and it's a whole new cartoon character called Monkeybone. And it's like I think that's the end. Mm-hmm. It's like it's whole like the Monkeybone character. Wow, look at me, blah 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 blah. Oh,
we have no
how crazy I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where the pilot ends. And then, like, the lights go up and everyone's clapping and applauding. And then, is it David Foley who goes up and talks? David Foley.
In his third appearance on this show.
He's in Blast from the Past.
He's in Blast from the Past and Brain Candy. Kids from the Hall Brain Candy.
Is he just a Fraser buddy? Or is he like
He's one of the Kids from the Hall guys.
Yes.
Okay.
And so he was in the Kids in the Hall movie, which Fraser's a big fan of.
Yeah, okay.
And then he's also Flick in Bug's Life around this time.
He's Flick, but he's David Foley's Flick?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck. I always knew him as what's his name? Mr. Is it Mr. Boy in Sky High? No, what's his fucking name?
Yeah, no, you're right.
What's his name? I think it's Mr. Boy, right? I don't know. I had that wrong.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's the main sidekick.
All-American Boy.
All-American Boy. Yeah. So David Foley playing Herb goes up and be like, this was our 4-minute pilot or whatever, and we've already been picked up for 6 more episodes on Comedy Central and blah 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 blah, and everyone's like clapping like yeah, and then that's when we get the reveal Monkeybone. Everyone's going bonkers, batshit crazy
for Monkeybone.
Yeah, and this wouldn't have bothered me, like the whole idea of like, why is this cartoon monkey good? Like, why are people like foaming at the mouth over it? That didn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. I was like, it could have been like a cereal commercial, but people frothed at the mouth over it. Like, the point of which is that there's a piece of art that's being created by this tortured artist that everybody loves and wants more of. Mm-hmm. I don't care what it is. It could be a vape commercial for all I care. Like, just it's something, but it is like beg the question of like, why are people like going batshit crazy over a Monkeybone commercial? TV pilot, but whatever. So we see Brendan Fraser, who is the original cartoonist for Monkeybone. He is, at this point in the movie, he's like a down on his dumps, sad, depressed.
He's not like on his,
he's just kind of like mopey.
He's mopey. He's very, and it's so strange because he has everything he could ever want.
Yeah, he's got a girlfriend that is loyal and loves him and appreciates him.
Is the idea that Monkeybone escaped from him and is living in his dream dimension?
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
But we don't see that happening. We just see
he gets
him
to
put
the dream dimension.
We just see him put Monkeybone on the page. And I should say, like, this whole pilot cartoon thing is sort of like framed in the way of like, this is how Stu Miley, which is the character Brendan Fraser plays, this is how he sort of grew up, like repressed, sexually repressed, came up with a new like this sort of figment of his imagination to explain like the weird sort of kooky emotions that he feels. And so Stu and his girlfriend,
played by Bridget Fonda,
who I could tell you her name is Julie McElroy. I could tell you that, but Does it matter?
I don't know.
No,
not really.
Because the only character she plays in this movie is Stu's girlfriend.
Yes.
Like that's literally all she plays in this entire movie.
Get him, Stuart. Get him. You tell Henry.
It's an early 2000s.
Bummer,
I mean, not even early 2000s. Just a forever Hollywood thing. Like this movie definitely does not pass the Bechdel test.
Oh no,
she's a good actress.
Gonna save you from suspense in that realm.
Yeah.
So,
but she's his girlfriend, and he wants to marry her really badly, huh?
You may have noticed I've been silent for the past few minutes. I have a few pitches for what this movie might
Jeff,
be.
where were you? Oh my gosh.
I have a few pitches for where this
you're gonna
movie
derail my plot.
Yes. Because I gotta get this fucking out of my head.
Okay.
All right. I think we might be amalgamating multiple movies. And I think one of them that we're thinking about is Inside Out, where joy and happiness or joy and sadness are both in the brain and they have to merge together at the end.
Yes.
And work together.
Yes.
I think we might also be thinking of Loki, the TV show.
I was also thinking
where
of
there's
Loki a little bit.
where there's a variety of different Lokis and they have to work together and essentially form together at the end in a shadow realm.
I think it's Fight Club.
And I think it's also Fight Club. I think it's also Fight Club that I'm thinking of. You see why? Because I'm thinking of a lot of different things at the same time.
Yeah.
I also think it's being John Malkovich.
I haven't seen John.
Because that's the body possession one, where they find a way to possess another body and make it do abstract.
Yeah, you wouldn't
things.
like being John Malkovich.
And
you
they go
think it's up its own butt.
And they go into
You would think that.
Like dream realms about all the different versions of yourself that have to work together. I think those are the things we're thinking of.
The new Puss in Boots?
I didn't see the new Puss in Boots.
I haven't seen it either.
Where did that even come from?
I don't know. For some reason,
Why did you just say that?
It goes to the death realm and fights death or whatever, right?
He fights death or something, isn't it? Mark, you saw the new Puss in Boots?
Yeah,
it's good, right?
Yeah, I actually don't know where they are at the end of that movie. Okay. They're in a forest. They're in a dream forest. There's a star. There's a wishing star.
All right, back to the fucking plot. I think.
Did you have a pitch? I thought you were gonna pitch us something to make the movie better. No, you weren't gonna.
I was gonna pitch the movies that I think we might have been thinking.
Oh, you were gonna pitch the movies.
I already pitched how to make this movie better.
Yeah, sure. Well, something interesting I'm remembering now is that painting sort of at the top of the movie that he's drawing is his sort of proposal to his girlfriend because he wants to marry her, and so he's drawing himself proposing to his girlfriend
with
Monkeybone on his shoulder.
Monkeybone on his shoulder.
So it's very like,
he is the Gollum of his Smeagol.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is,
I mean, textually, but not, it's not.
He doesn't actually morph.
I don't know if that's expressed in the movie,
right?
Emotionally.
Yeah.
I think we're taking this movie too seriously.
We are, but I think it deserves. If this movie had one scene where he went out drinking in celebration of the pilot getting picked up, and it's like there's a little quiet, it's like, careful, Stu drinks too much. He turns into Monkeybone.
Fox probably cut it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A single line like that would have done a lot.
And it's like you get a little hint of like what this whole other personality is like, like when he gets drunk. And
oh, you let Monkeybone out.
You could build a comparison so when he does go in a coma and goes in the dream realm, you could be like, oh, it's like, so yeah, you probably didn't know this, but whenever you drink, your conscious sort of goes to sleep and your subconscious takes over. And that's when I get a glimmer of your body and we get to do some fun things. And he uses the reverse of that. So when Monkeybone drinks, Stu Miley takes over and Stu is inhabiting a drunk version of the real life Stu Miley. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's a movie.
That's a movie.
This is not a movie.
This is not a movie.
That's a movie.
It's a collection of images.
Is it not a cool idea? Like literally,
it's a collection of cool images.
Yeah,
right. They're kind of
Monkeybone is trapped in the subconscious nightmare realm, but every time Stu drinks, his conscious goes to sleep. So Monkeybone gets a hand on the steering wheel.
It's like Split.
And so for Stu,
I think we're also thinking of Split.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Split's a movie where at the end of Glass, they all have to come together, and then actual whatever his name is dies.
And they also have a thing where they grab take the light is the textual reference for taking over the body. I don't know. That would have just connected so many more dots than what this movie ever did.
Yeah. But he falls into a coma. He gets in a car accident.
Yeah,
he hits the pole.
Yeah, Herb is trying to push this merchandising thing and so he makes a lot of money. And Stu's sort of going against it. And he's like, I don't know about that. They shove all this merchandising in his car. And he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I'm going to sign for the pilot. His girlfriend gets in the car with him. By the way, we missed this one key thing, which we don't find out till later in the movie, but I should say now. Julie McElroy, Stu Miley's girlfriend, is a sleep specialist.
Yeah, he couldn't sleep.
Not gonna come into the movie at all, dear reader.
Yeah. It's funny you said Deer Eater because Stephen King is in this movie. Well, not real Stephen King, but he is in this.
It's pretty convincing, though. It's a pretty convincing.
It's a convincing Stephen King. So they get in the car and they're talking about, like, I don't want to do this whole pilot deal. I think I should just like ditch the whole thing. There's an inflatable monkey bone in the backseat that inflates, and it pushes up to the driver's seat and it presses down on the steering wheel. So he loses control of the car. He hits something and he gets like, Julie's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Julie. This dude gets in a coma and is given like a 3-month like terminal diagnosis.
Yes.
And so we then cue the "This is Halloween, this is Halloween, Halloween."
He winds up on a roller coaster to hell.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that.
This is the Tim Burton, Henry Selick Nightmare on Elm Street Coraline-esque intro where they're going down this twirly stop motion puppetry thing and they land into the world of hell or nightmares.
What's it called?
Downtown.
No,
it's called Downtown. The comic is Darktown, and they changed it.
Yeah, that's
right.
Which
doesn't quite make sense, but it should just be Darktown, like down.
But it's like down in the subconscious town.
Yeah,
downtown. I think should be classified. It's downtown's not hell, because hell's a different place, because that's where like death is.
Yeah.
Darktown or downtown is.
But death is downtown. Death kind of runs downtown.
Death can go to downtown,
but the sleep guy Hypno runs downtown.
The god of sleep, Hypno,
because you're not technically dead yet.
You're not dead
played
yet.
by Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
A Gus from Breaking Bad, or
Moff Gideon. I know exactly what you were about to say.
Yeah. This man played a bad guy from the early 2000s. Like, he's just always been cast as like the bad guy.
No, he's pretty chill in the Spike Lee's. You should watch him in the Spike Lee's.
He's good in Do the Right Thing.
Yeah,
so good.
No, he's like.
This is kind of a Do the Right Thing reunion between him and John Turturro as Monkeybone.
No, it's true. Yeah.
But so Brendan Fraser wakes up and he's in a world of like spirited away, like puppetry like figurines.
Here's a question. Is this movie better? Like, this movie, it makes this textually like a place where a lot of different people go to.
Yes.
This is like a communal spot for coma patients and dead people.
It makes sense that, this is the place, sort of. It's not in Stu's subconscious, but it's like the collective subconscious that everybody falls into.
Is this movie better if it is explicitly in his brain and everything he's running into is
his own,
like creations of his own that he has to struggle and figure out with Monkeybone, his repressed side, to get back to the land of the living?
Right.
Is that a better movie?
Because the alternative is what we have here, which
is like
he's not in his own head; he is in a other dimension.
Yeah, which lends itself to a lot of business.
Yes,
it's like you got to get the ticket to get out. You got to go through Abe Lincoln's head, and like you can still have all those fun visuals and ideas, but I think it's cleaner.
Okay, but the tickets are in Death's office, so Death must be running.
I think it's
downtown.
I think it's cleaner if like I don't know. There's like the opening of the movie establishes that there's a villain in Monkeybone or something, and the villain is who they have to fight in the brain. They have to steal the ticket from the office of the villain to get out. That feels cleaner.
What if it's like
they do have to do that, but the villain is not a villain.
What if
you're talking about Whoopi Goldberg's Death should be playing a villain?
What if the villain in his subconscious brain in your movie is Flappy Arm Teacher?
Yeah, like literally, like.
Because I guess I don't know what the Flappy Arm Teacher's meant to represent, other than just a
sexual
an
perversion.
Is it just
perverted? Like the first like,
or is it meant to be like this is a guy who could love a woman no matter, or be aroused by women? He's like the old, like
he's aroused by things that sweat.
Yeah, he wants to get married and fall in love and stay aroused to his wife for the rest of his life. Yeah. Is a man capable of that? I guess, but Monkeybone is that.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is the problem. Is like Monkeybone is his like sexual side. Like this movie needs to the beginning of this movie needs to set up three things. It needs to set up something in a cartoon that's going to appear in his nightmare realm.
Yeah.
It needs to establish a relationship problem he's having. Like he needs to be impotent, or his wife's like losing interest in him as like baseline and like early 2000s like sexualities that would be. That's at least a story that you can go off of. like his wife's losing interest in him because he's not a romantic anymore, or he's not exciting anymore. And like inside the dream world, he has to combine with Monkeybone, find a more exciting version of himself.
Yeah.
Which is not saying, but that's what Nightmare is. Nightmare is but a guy who runs a town who he wants to be he's kind of done it so many times. He wants to be a more successful version of himself, and he does, and overshoots his shot, and I'm not like, look, I don't think Henry Selick's strength as an artist
is in his story,
or as a story. He's a storyteller. Yeah. Is sort of his. It's not his work. It's not his thematic work. You know what I'm saying? I don't think his work is meant to be even like literal or subtextual. It's not, but it's because like James the Giant Peach isn't that. James the Giant Peach is just a child nightmare movie.
Yeah. The problem is this movie knocks on too many thematic
doors. I think it's just an unsuccessful version of what he's done successfully, which is, it
has too many knocks on thematic doors,
and I think it's
to not have someone
piece
answer
of work that was chopped to threads, and he was given no respect and shit like that. And
Henry Selick is in that forest from Nightmare Before Christmas, where there's all these doors, but instead of holidays, they're all themes. But no one's answering.
I mean, what happened was that a guy at Fox liked him and liked his work that he had done for Disney, and was like, "Cool, you can do this." And then that guy gets fired, and a new guy gets hired, like a fucking studio system, and he's like. No, I don't know what this thing you're working on. I don't know what it is. I'm going to chop it up.
Make it better.
So I can't really speak to how successful Henry Selick's intention is.
Because we don't know what the intention was.
Yeah. But I think
whatever it is, it ain't this.
But what we could talk about, but is the stuff that we are seeing on screen successful? Like, just to bring it back, is Brendan Fraser successful in this movie? Playing Stu Miley. Would Ben Stiller have been better?
Yeah, because Ben Stiller.
I feel like Ben Stiller, the original choice, and does Mystery Men instead, is probably more suited to sort of the
zany,
the demented zany, whereas it's just you feel bad for Fraser because he is so lovable.
Yeah,
to watch a guy, it becomes unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Ben Stiller, who looks like a Henry Selick drawing, could probably.
It feels like Fraser is giving it his all.
Yeah.
But like you said, you feel kind of bad just watching him debase himself and play a monkey again.
Yeah.
Because he's done it twice before at this point.
Yeah, he has.
And so that at the end, like, you're like, he's good, he's funny, like, but I don't want to see him just like shaking his butt all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to like criticize a performance that's arguably kind of good, but it's just like you don't want to see it.
Is it affecting? Like, but I don't know if he makes me laugh in this movie. I don't know if he like.
Yeah,
and his character is so lost.
Yeah,
and I think
Fraser
he's kind of lost
in
the performer and the performance. I feel like he doesn't really have a grasp on it, even though he is like, when he is sort of playing like embarrassed Stu Smiley, it's kind of like, I think Fraser's very good at playing like irritated.
Yeah.
He's very good at this moment when Foley walks up to him kissing, his girlfriend, and he just kind of gives him this look like, you're standing right fucking. Fraser's so good at this sort of like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I don't want.
That's what the character in this movie is the guy who should just be irritated at all the fucking things happening to him and all the sort of like all the bad luck he's having. And I don't think he's successful. Yeah. But I think it's something he's very good at as an actor.
Fraser, like,
it doesn't come across in this movie.
Fraser in this movie is the same problem I have with Fraser in Bedazzled, which is that he's good in the movie, he's doing the thing, but this is a movie that's written for Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey should play this role. Jim Carrey should have played the guy in Bedazzled.
Yeah.
Like, he's good at that. To? He was. I don't think we ever found evidence, but I feel like convinced that this movie was written for Jim Carrey. Because if you watch the first 5 minutes of Bedazzled, it is such a Jim Carrey like performance that he's giving. But like these are like Jim Carrey's good at that, like losing his mind stuff.
Yeah, and he's also a successful pervert.
Yes,
and Fraser's not.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
Fraser's
saying?
too likable to be a pervert.
Or he's not like. I just don't think he's a pervert.
Yeah,
I just don't think he has that sort of like
energy.
Jim Carrey in Liar is playing a pervert.
Yes,
and that's probably successful in
Jim Carrey in
Bedazzled.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
The Mask. The Mask is a movie about putting a mask on and becoming a pervert.
Yeah. And in this movie, they cast Brendan Fraser to play somebody who
has a perverted
thinks he's a pervert,
but it's really just like
but
a
really
nice
is
guy?
not. It's just kind of very confusing. I'm kind of just like I am left.
Yeah,
I'm just questioning.
He's the wrong choice, and he gives it his all.
Yeah,
but
and all that stuff is so confusing that I can't really enjoy when like cool visual things and set pieces are happening.
Because the visuals are
until
cool.
Catan shows up, and Catan is just a freak.
Catan's locked in.
And
you should
he's
just
locked
cast
in.
Catan in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catan's so good at this. Oh my goodness.
Who?
5 Timers Club loser. Cole's
hang
me.
up and tell him that.
Yeah,
hang up
fine.
Hang up and tell him.
Maybe he'll call me one more
6
time. Because I did
Club.
hang up. Whenever I hang up immediately, he's like, "Fuck that shit," and he'll call me right back. So we'll see here in a second.
Mark was getting a call from Cole Bradley.
Yep.
Former guest of the show. 5 Timers Club recipient.
Cool's Club.
5 with a period. No more.
He's not in the Tilly's Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should just segue.
Frustrating. Movie is frustrating.
It's a very frustrating.
I want to enjoy it and like it.
Yeah. Because all the Darktown stuff looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
The sets are incredible.
Well, I mean,
the composite work is insane.
Very good.
The composite work is next level.
Yeah.
Like watching Monkeybone like dance around like Fraser in this practical set build.
Yeah. What the movie would take so long to make. It was much longer to make. Maybe he didn't want to do as much stop motion.
Yeah.
What if all the downtown stuff was stop
all
motion?
the stuff is stop motion.
What if
even
it was?
including Fraser?
I think the movie is more successful.
Yeah. What if Fraser's the only live action element in?
No, I think he should be a stop motion Ben Fraser.
That'd be fun. I'd like that.
There
needs to be something.
There's like
here.
5 stop motion characters in this movie.
Yeah, there needs to be something here. Is it can't be a whole town of like reality and then a few stop motion characters.
Yeah.
Like everything needs to be stop motion, and he's not, or he has to as well.
Yeah. I'll give Downtown this because we saw Ant-Man Quantumania last night.
Yes.
As much as we've been talking about this movie like not making sense, Downtown makes way more sense than the fucking Quantum Realm.
This movie's like the fucking Matrix compared to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh my god. Yeah.
A movie that makes no sense. Every time I think of it, I'm like, why is this happening? Who is this person? Bill Murray's here.
It never makes sense that like there's all these humans in the quantum realm, and they're always questioning why other humans are there. You never know how they got there because it feels like there's only 2 people who are capable of getting there.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't matter.
Bad movie.
Bad movie. No one will talk about it. Anyway, did you care? Did we just spoil? I don't know. Did you really care?
I don't think we dropped any spoilers on it.
I don't.
Did you care?
No.
Did you care
About
Ant-Man?
No.
Okay, cool.
I haven't seen
Quantum meh. Yeah, more like.
Okay.
I saw your Instagram story.
Yeah, you like that?
You really like that joke, don't you?
You like that? That was pretty good on that one.
Yeah. Here's the thing, boys. I really feel like I'm at a spot, like, because I knew this would happen. I knew this is a movie where it's like we could talk about the plot, but I think what was much more entertaining to do is just talk about all the missed opportunities with this movie, because this movie isn't Sinbad.
Yeah.
This movie isn't just a hot dumpster fire.
Yeah.
This movie isn't I don't know, it's another example.
There's maybe a decent movie buried within this movie.
Yes.
You can see the pieces.
Yes.
You don't know if it's going to make a full puzzle.
I'd even argue that maybe there's a cut that is like, because I think this movie's not unwatchable.
It's not unwatchable.
It's not unwatchable, but there's certainly a much more watchable cut of this movie.
The last 20 minutes of this are so good.
They're very
and
good.
the rest of it has enough fun stuff in it that I'm glad I watched this movie. I'm just like frustrated by it.
Yeah.
Because it's so close.
Yeah, it's very close to being good.
It's almost more frustrating to watch a movie like this one that's so close but just misses the mark than a movie that just completely misses the mark.
Yeah, this is just a bad movie.
It's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
This is more like frustrating because you have all the pieces in place. And you can fathom a configuration where it works.
Like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I'm frustrated because I'm like, how'd you miss the point of the Ant-Man movie so much? But like at some point you're just like, oh, whatever, fine. Bill Murray, okay, fine. This big tentacle, great. This I'm like, come on, with every scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
put Monkeybone in the MCU.
I mean, just to speed through, he gets to downtown, the subconscious dream world, where he's like, am I dead? And it's like, oh, you're in a coma, and everything is scaring him. He's in a land of nightmares. Everyone knows him, which is an interesting thought.
Yeah, because they all like his cartoon.
Because, again, as we have established, he's not in his head. He is in a fixed destination that people go to when they are in between living and dead. When they're in a coma. When they're in a coma. There's a bar. I like the bar.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of people with like, you want an IV drink?
Yeah.
It's an IV martini or whatever it is.
So many fun ideas. And this is where Selick is kind of popping off.
Yeah.
There's so many fun ideas in downtown.
And so people know him at this place because this is where dreams and nightmares go.
And they watch nightmares.
Yes. And they watch nightmares and have a fun time.
Yeah.
And Stu Miley has had a history of like struggling with intense nightmares.
Yes.
And so he's like a celebrity there. But he gets there and he's like, oh, I'm in a coma. He sees Monkeybone, his figment, and voiced by John Turturro.
Yes. Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite. I couldn't tell it was John Turturro.
Yeah. I do want to say really quick, I'm just very happy because like he walks in the bar and he looks up and there's like a piano player and it's this blue elephant man, and I'm just so fucking happy that Max Rebo's still getting work. Like, I thought he kind of
I literally said the exact same thing to my girlfriend last night.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I was kind of worried for him after Return of the Jedi that things were going to dry up, but I'm glad Max Rebo's getting work
in the dream realm.
I'm gonna sidebar about Max Rebo.
Oh no.
Max Rebo is on Jabba's sales barge when that thing blows up. And I'm like, well, Max Rebo's fucking cooked. That's it. He pops up in Book of Boba Fett. An otherwise disappointing show, except for the fact that I'm happy Max Rebo's in it. He plays in a bar now. The bar gets fucking bombed, and he's in it again.
This is kind of a funny joke. Oh, he survived!
Max Rebo fucking cooked again. Did he fucking like steamroll? Like,
maybe like if they did it like a new sequel trilogy and they bring Akbar back, and he blows up on another fucking ship.
Did Max Rebo? Is Max Rebo literally like John McClane in Die Hard 2? He's like, how can the same shit happen to the same guy twice? How can I be playing two places and both of them blow up?
Yeah,
it's a great sidebar.
I just had to say it.
We get Rose McGowan's character as Kitty, which is what purpose in the movie?
She has boobs.
She has boobs.
That's the intention.
She gets violated a couple times.
Yes, by Monkeybone and by Giancarlo Esposito. But she does get to murder a rat man?
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse,
yes.
Mickey Mouse who runs
This would have been a phenomenal, like, if they could have done like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing, but contorted IP.
It's kind of what this thing is, though. It's kind of like Mickey Mouse, he runs the sort of
IP prison.
He runs the prison with all the ghosts, right? Or all the sort
serial
of like
killers.
soul-sucking demons. Yeah, all the serial killers who go around and work for death.
Yeah.
And shit like that. Because the nightmare stuff is, I don't know who's fucking, is Death the one obsessed with nightmares? Or is that
it's
sort of hypnosis?
It's
Hypnos.
Not the Pokemon Hypno.
Yeah.
The god of dreams.
And so like the prison, like the prison's very confusing.
These things should be memorable and they're like not memorable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, so he's at the bar and he talks to Monkeybone, and then this ghostly figure walks in, and
it's funny he has that voice. He's got the Polonius voice.
Walks up to this old dude. It's like,
your time has come.
Your time has come. You get an exit pass. He's like, what? What's an exit pass? And he then gets on this like little like those like things you hit like down with a hammer and a thing goes up and ding.
Yeah, like a trebuchet sort of.
Yeah. But there's a chair in the middle, and the old dude sits on. He plugs in an exit pass like it's a ticket, and then an Abraham Lincoln statue appears out of the sky. We're not lying. This is true. Every time I say we're not lying, it's true. We're always like making something up.
No, this is dead serious.
This is dead serious. A statue of Abraham Lincoln pops up in the sky, opens its mouth, and then Monkeybone says the great line, well, you know what they say about Abe Lincoln, the great emancipator.
Well, what the fuck did they do before Abe Lincoln? Like it was John Adams. Yeah, like, what did they do? They just shoot him into the sky? Was it a Greek god?
I don't know. But yeah, they like ding, and then the old man like gets kicked all the way up through Abe Lincoln's mouth, and the guy wakes up on like the hospital table or whatever.
Yeah.
So And he's like, why did that guy get an exit pass? He was an old fuck.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know why he got one.
Yeah, it's never explained how exit
Yeah, I don't know how they
picked.
work.
Well, I think it's just
more of
like,
just like a
I think it's just the event
treatment,
you're
maybe?
in a coma and you do wake up.
Oh, so it's all... Yeah, so he's just fucking dreaming. It's luck.
Well, I guess that's what it is. Like, if you don't get an exit pass, that means you're in a coma and you're going to die or stay in the dream realm. Whereas if you're in the dream realm and you get an exit pass, that means your coma isn't as bad and you're going to wake up.
Yeah.
This realm is so strange because it is like a mix.
It has rules.
It has rules.
But then breaks all of them.
Yeah.
It also, I feel like maybe just isn't... It's not complicated enough, maybe, for Selick. I think Selick should just, I think his bits are usually more complicated than this.
This should be a lot
that
more
actually feels very sort of like...
This should be like the Land of the Dead from Beetlejuice.
It feels very clean.
Where like it's incredibly bureaucratic and there's so many like layers of bureaucracy to it that that's confusing to a point of being funny. That's what this should be.
Yeah. But so then he's trapped and we get a little scene in the doctors where Stu Miley's sister comes in and it's like, we made a pact that if any, like, it took our father forever to die, and if we were ever to be in a position where we would be like in a coma or vegetable, that we would pull the plug. So it's like, so doctor, how long does he have? And it's
sure.
Like, well, he could wake up today, he could wake up tomorrow, or he could wake up forever. It's like, well, give me a date. It's like 3 months. It's like after 3 months, the chances of him waking up significantly go down.
Yeah.
And his sister's played off as like some sort of like, Megan Mullally. She's like
nervous Nelly.
Yeah, she's like a nervous Nelly. But when I understand sort of Stu's like his issues he'd had with nightmares, what she was saying should be very sort of earnest and straightforward, which is, my brother was tormented with nightmares. If he told me just offhandedly if he was ever in a coma or if he was ever sick or in a situation, of course he thinks he'd be tormented with nightmares. He would just be like his eyes would be closed and he'd be stuck just nightmaring and dreaming and shit like that.
All the makings were a very serious moment.
I know, but it's actually sort of like,
I'm gonna pull the plug on my brother.
Yeah, it is sort of like, I'm not
Make
taking
her
all his
villainous.
money.
Yeah.
But she's not like really after his money, is she?
Yeah,
Like
no.
it's not. No, it's just
not
she's
after
just kind of
anything.
like doing I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know, bro.
I don't even
But
know.
so, and of course,
Monkeybone.
Stu's girlfriend.
Get in the bone, monkey bone. Okay.
Monkeybone would tell us to shut the fuck up. I'll tell you that much.
Look you up, come out, sweet dog.
What was her name again? Janet.
Julie. Wait, no,
Julie.
that's his girlfriend, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
his girlfriend,
I think
Julie.
it's Julie.
Julie is like feeling a little weird about it. She's like, "What? You gonna pull the plug on him? No." And then we're back with Stu and Monkeybone in like the dream prison. He gets an invitation from Hypno, the god of sleep, to go to a party. And he goes, and it's like a viewing party for them to watch nightmares through the snow globe from the Tim Allen Santa Claus movie.
Yeah.
So that's literally what they do. And
You've comprehended so much more of this movie than I have.
I don't know. Maybe. So, but they're watching this and they're like, this is what we loved you for. You had such great nightmares. And all this is like, well, I need an exit pass. And he's like, oh, I know how you can get an exit pass. You go to the land, you go to death. And you can like that. They keep all the exit passes down in like, is it hell or the underworld?
Land of death is what
or I think
they
it's
just say the land of death.
Yeah, land of death or the underworld or whatever. And so it's like, so you got to get into the land of death, and that's where all the exit passes are. So you can steal one and get back. And so he goes on. He like there's like a trolley cart next to downtown that goes further down to the land of the death, and there's like a ghostly Grim Reaper is in like the front seat. And
go back.
and so he lifts up like the cloth and like a ghoul, like a ghostly
And the
ghoul.
I think fucking kill the guy.
Yeah, he kills this Grim Reaper or whatever. So he's like, oh, okay. So he puts the robe on, and then him and Monkeybone go down this roller coaster, and they're in the land of death. So then we get introduced to Whoopi Goldberg as Death.
I love it.
With Thomas Hayden Church as Death's like right hand person.
Uncredited Thomas Hayden Church.
Uncredited Thomas Hayden Church, where the weirdest fucking like tribal makeup.
He looks like the insane clown posse.
He looks like
He looks like a juggalo.
He looks like a witch doctor.
He looks like a fucking juggalo.
And
he looks like fucking what's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy? Fucking Lee Pace. You know what I'm saying?
The
Ronan.
Accuser.
He looks like Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah. What does he accuse you of?
Not being dead. I don't know.
Stand you stand accused. I'm like, what?
And so, oh wow, Mark's pulling the table.
I'm fidgety.
Fidgety boy.
I love it. So, so Brendan Fraser and Monkeybone get down. Monkeybone is ratatouilleing.
This is how he looks.
You just made that right now?
No, I found that.
Oh, okay.
I saw this earlier today.
Damn, that's pretty.
Side by side with the homie. Whoop, whoop.
So,
Let me see it. Let me have it here.
homie whoop.
You can post this on Travolting's social media page.
It's a juggalo meme for those curious.
So Fraser gets to the land of death, which is like presented like this factory thing or something. I don't know. We don't really see much of land of death, but
It's like a factory of Grim Reapers.
yeah. And so he's got the Grim Reaper cloak over him. There's like a row of Grim Reapers walking into like Whoopi Goldberg's office, and I don't know what they're doing. Monkeybone is like Ratatouille right now. He's like on top of.
Yeah, this is when he has the pea soup stain on him.
Yeah, why?
Because he falls in a deleted scene. He like spills some. He like in a deleted scene. I read he like just spills some pea soup on.
Why is there
himself.
pea soup in the
I don't know.
underworld?
Which is why when she goes, "What is that?" Why? And he goes, "It's some pea soup." It's funnier in the movie when it's cut out, I think. And he just goes, "It's green spill. It's pea
It's
soup."
not explained where that came from.
I don't know.
So, I can't remember what Whoopi Goldberg is doing with the Grim Reapers.
She's approving them to be Grim Reapers, or if they have to go back to downtown, because there's some people they accidentally killed who have to come back to life.
Oh, okay. So she hands one of the Grim Reapers an exit pass, and Brendan Fraser and Monkeybone like freak out. She's like, "You there? Come hither. What's your name?" Herb.
He goes, Herb. Fraser's best moment in the movie. He's
Yes.
like, Herb. But then they keep fucking it up, and Monkeybone keeps talking for him. Like, there are two different voices on this poor guy.
So eventually the cloak comes off, and it's revealed. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's a person or whatever.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know what happens from here.
I think they steal an exit pass. They're successful.
Yeah, they go back to downtown.
Whoopi Goldberg gets decapitated at some point.
Yeah, she has a closet full of heads. That's kind of cool.
And they like screw it on her head. Good CGI work, I guess. Brendan Fraser and Monkeybone like crash out of the window, and there's like Grim Reapers trying to get them. It's at this point in the movie when Julie, we find out she's a sleep specialist, and that's how they met. That's an interesting plot. That's a Haunting at Hill House moment.
Yeah.
When what's the actress name? Victoria Pedrotti? Her character in the episode 4, A Twin Thing, she has nightmares from when she was ever a kid, and she went to a sleep study specialist thing, and turned out she liked the doctor, and then they got married and had a lovely life, and then her nightmare came back, and then he randomly had a brain aneurysm and died, and then she was having nightmares again.
Stuart's just recapping all of Haunting of Hill House right now.
No, just episode 4, The Twin Thing, and then
a show I've never seen.
She goes back to the house and kills herself.
Now I'm glad.
I fucking hate it when that happens, by the way. It's awful.
Just when that happens.
If you're ever in a situation where you can avoid that,
it's actually not a twin. It's
it.
actually not episode 4, Twin Thing. It's episode 5, The Bent Neck Lady. Haunting at Hill House, one of the best horror TV shows ever created. We love you, Mike Flanagan. Keep doing what you're doing. Anyway,
Dr. Sleep.
Midnight
what's
Mass.
the best episode of that? You think?
The Twin Thing. It's a Twin Thing.
Or 6. 6 is the one with where they're in the church, right?
Yeah, that one's really good.
The funeral home.
That one's absolutely
That's
really
a great
good.
episode.
Midnight Mass.
And not just because it's
Midnight Mass is great.
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass slaps.
Oh my god, that show's good.
The end when they're all singing, when they're all vampires, but they're all singing, it's like nearer, my God, to thee, and then the sun comes up and roasts the whole island.
If Midnight Mass was a movie,
the last line in that movie, the last line in that episode of the finale of Midnight Mass, I can't feel my legs.
You watch TV.
I watch Midnight Mass.
You watch TV.
I watch Midnight Mass.
Get the fuck out of here. Just Sweeney like, I don't watch TV.
I don't watch TV. I watch
Andor
and
I watch
Midnight Mass and all the Game of Thrones.
I watch an occasional
I even watch
TV
some of
show.
the Lord of the Rings TV shows.
But I will never cover the People versus OJ.
I watched the first episode of
Or
The Rings of Power.
Scrubs.
Or Scrubs.
I watched the first episode of The Rings of Power. Well, don't besmirch me by saying I watched all of it.
It's more than the rest of America watched.
I watched all Rings of Power.
Did you like it?
No, not really.
Do you think it was like pretty to look at or not that pretty to look at?
I thought it was.
Because I couldn't even decide if it was.
When people
pretty to
said it
look
had
at.
$1 billion budget, I'm like, where?
Where?
Who?
Where? Yeah, who?
You know what's a good show? House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon's a great.
I didn't mean to.
Oh my God, he's watching the watch shows.
You watch House of the Dragon.
I watched House of the Dragon.
Have you watched Abbott Elementary?
No.
No, I think you'd like it. You should watch it. Do you know what that show's about?
Mm-mm.
That show is about like an underfunded school. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I think it might be an East Coast thing.
There were less TV shows.
But I was thinking, I always Rachel, my wife, she puts it on. She watches it all the time, and I always think about you when I watch it.
Why?
Because there's always like 30 background kids because it's set in an elementary school every single episode.
Do the shows that have a lot of background remind?
I always think about you, and there's certain scenes in that Lord of the Rings show where I was thinking about you, or in terms
Just
of
when you see background?
just like directing period background, and having to like make sure people were doing their period things. But for kids,
folks
I was
listening, I ran background like.
but for
extras.
but for that show, I'm
for
always
a
just
while.
like I was always just like, man, 30 kids, and I guess there's a lot of the same kids that are there all the time, so they might not be background because a lot of the kids have like featured speaking parts, but a lot of the kids are like, you can tell they're just kind of like staring off into the distance a lot of the time and not looking, and I'm always like,
They've all been working for 14 hours.
yeah, I'm always thinking about Stuart's days if he was still on that show any fucking way.
Anyway, so he steals an exit pass and escapes the land of death. He gets back to downtown, but then Monkeybone, he's like, I love you, buddy. We're going to get back to my body, and it's going to be great. I'm going to propose to Julie, and Monkeybone gets out a hammer. It's like, that's right, fucking Stu. I'm going to get back to your body. Well, bam! Hits Stu in the head and then runs off with the exit pass. Stu's like, no, Monkeybone, what are you doing? He gets on like the trajectory thing, plugs in the exit pass. It's like, here I come! And then... like the pilot and Independence Day when the alien gunship opens up and he's like, all right, you alien scumbags, up yours. That son of a bitch did it.
It's Monkeybone going
Is
into
the
Abe
idea-
Lincoln's mouth.
Is the idea that him and like Hypnos
Had the
were just
plot.
had a
The way-
plot?
yeah, the way it was-
What's Monkeybone's investment? Do you know?
So
He gets to be in the real world.
he gets to be in the
Oh, he
real
just wants
world
to get
and
back in the
he
real world.
creates a land of like nightmares. Evidently, this is where the prison could have been actually kind of interesting. So Monkeybone gets on the trajectory thing and goes back to Stu's body. By the way, they're about to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Because Stu, it's been 3 months, I guess.
Yeah.
Stu's been in the downtown for 3 months and hasn't made any progress. Just then decides to try to find an exit pass. Lazy.
He knows where it is.
Yeah, he knows where it is. He knows what to do, but it
It's not
evidently
like
takes him
Stu is
3
like
months.
the hidden key to getting a pass.
Yeah,
He's tall and can hide on his shoulders, I guess. Like that's it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah, so
Why they
Monkeybone gets
needed
back
Stu.
in Stu Miley's body, and he wakes up. He's like, he starts talking in ape form, and then eventually one of the nurses has to like try to subdue him, and then one of them gets a taser out, and he's like, shut up, you stupid ape, and he grabs it. And he's like, no,
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
no. He talked. The ape spoke. That monkey just spoke. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Good movie.
I like that one.
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty human. Remember when Tim Burton flipped the script and we were like, whoa.
Whoa. When did the Tim Burton
2000, a year before
right
this.
around this time.
That movie looks incredible with all the prosthetic work. That's
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti also should have gotten an Academy Award for that movie.
Mark Wahlberg is the star of that movie.
Yeah. That movie is dire. It's really bad. Except anytime Paul Giamatti walks on screen is this orangutan. He's like, hey, what's the big idea? It's me, Paul Giamatti, He like refers to himself as Paul Giamatti.
The prosthetic work in that movie is amazing.
Yeah. No, Rick Baker. It was Rick Baker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. He's incredible.
It is amazing in that movie.
Tim Roth like struggled for months to that performance, only for it to come out and no one to like it. That was like Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, where she like spent the whole press tour being like, I struggled for months. I couldn't get out of the headspace. I ate so much pasta for the... She's like, oh, how like much she struggled. And then the movie comes out, everyone's like...
I ate pasta for 6 years for this fucking role, and by the time I got on set, I couldn't stop doing...
And the movie comes out and people are like, yeah, she's pretty good now. She didn't get any awards.
That's what it fucking takes, Jeff.
Did anybody watch House of Gucci?
I did.
It's a big
Pretty
fucking
good.
hit. Yeah, that's like a big adult-sized hit.
I did not watch House of Gucci.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
Okay.
It's just funny how much she went in on that.
Anyway, so yeah, Monkeybone is now possessing Stu's body.
Anytime
and
you
this
say
all,
Monkeybone, I just go... God damn it.
This all was a plot by
Gives me a
Monkeybone and Hypno, because Monkeybone wants to be in the real world. It doesn't want to be a figment of the imagination anymore. That's a real motivation. I can understand that. I can attach something to that. Hypno's motivation for orchestrating the whole thing is because that they want new nightmares. And so what they do, because they send Stu to this prison. Who's in prison with him? Jack the Ripper, Stephen King. At one point we see like we see like a bunch of different serial killers and terrifying, like Stephen King's just there because he's...
No, but I got a problem with this.
Oh, but can I finish my thing
Yes.
real quick? Because this is the mechanic that's interesting. So presumably, Stephen King, who's still alive, right?
Yes.
Not Jack the Ripper and all those other serial killers, but Stephen King's still alive. But you can take this pattern and apply it to everybody in the jail. What happened was that Jack the Ripper and all these serial killers got into like a coma or a really bad dream. They swapped them with a figment of the imagination from the downtown to take over their body, to then commit all the horrible atrocity crimes, which spawned nightmares and like horror movies and horror books and shit like that. So what this movie is saying is Jack the Ripper never murdered anybody. It was someone from downtown who possessed Jack the Ripper to kill everybody. Stephen King is not Stephen King. It's Cujo.
No, but here's my problem.
It's a literal ghostwriter.
Stephen King wrote 11 books before Cujo that were horror books. This doesn't work. This simply doesn't work.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, this doesn't fucking work. What, he like wrote a bunch of nightmare stuff and then Cujo took over and continued doing it? There's no change.
Right. It's like, what do you gain?
Yeah, and like...
This guy's already making...
if Cujo had possessed him, that means he had to have written Cujo before Carrie and just like banked it for 12 years.
Well, I guess it makes sense in some way.
It took Cujo 11 years to be like, all right, I'm going to finally write my story.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't work.
Make any fucking sense.
Because it would have made sense if
it makes such little sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense if he had written Cujo, then Cujo became a figment of Stephen King's imagination, right? Like Monkeybone.
Who are the other
and
sort of
then
figures
Cujo
there?
takes over Stephen King's body and continues writing horror movies, like books.
But it doesn't work.
It doesn't work because A, like you said, he had not written Cujo yet, and B, he's been writing books the same ever since. So nothing was to be gained.
Yes.
They could have left
Cujo just took over his body and was like, all right, I'm going to continue writing pretty good horror books.
Right. What did they want to do? Maybe Stephen King didn't want to write horror books anymore and he was going to retire. And then Hypno was all of a sudden like, no, we can't let that happen. We're going to replace him with Cujo so he continues writing horror books. But we never know that. We never learn about that.
We don't.
But it also makes me think about who's Jack the Ripper's figment. Everyone's on their phones now.
I'm trying to pull up I'm trying to figure out who else is in that little scene with Jack the Ripper. Who else is in that? It's Jack the Ripper, Stephen King, who else?
There's a few other folks. I don't remember though.
Yeah, that's all the important ones. I think
if the whole movie looked like the golf course scene, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the whole movie looked like this or felt like that,
been pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys should like start. You guys should like have the movie playing the whole time, and then your goal is to beat the movie finishing. So you just play it.
Oh, we have already exceeded the length of this movie.
This
movie is 93 minutes long.
Yeah.
It feels longer though.
Yes.
This movie.
No, it does. It's like a really long.
It feels
90.
long.
It's a really. Long
I want to get to the
90.
Catan stuff. So
speed run there.
So we forgot to mention that Julie
it's gonna pump
wants to try.
Juice.
Yeah, she wants to try to like wake him up by injecting him with nightmare juice. That's what they call it in the movie.
Yeah.
We're not lying.
Yeah.
Calls it nightmare juice. She injects him. He gets like a nightmare but gets pulled out of it. There's no consequences for that.
Yeah.
Except that it creates a nightmare juice. So cut to Monkeybone and Stu Miley's body. He's all of a sudden like, yes, merchandising.
Merchandising.
Yes. Mel Brooks in Spaceballs. Merchandising. Spaceballs the cereal box. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
Except Monkeybone.
Monkeybone.
And I'm like, how is this show isn't a marketable success yet?
And so they're going.
It was a 4-minute pilot.
They're going through all of these like marketing meetings with all these merchandising specialists, and what they settle on is that they create this Monkeybone doll that has its finger up its ass, but what's up its ass is like particles, like a gas,
It's like a fart gas.
it's like a fart gas thing, and then. Monkeybone in Stu Miley's body, which has an abysmal haircut, by the way, with some strange facial hair options. I don't want to. No.
Hair ranking.
No.
Cue the music.
No. Oh, fuck.
This is my first Travolta. You guys doing that?
What?
I don't know why you guys are even doing a hair ranking for.
I don't know.
For Fraser.
Because we couldn't think of anything better.
Jeff, can I be honest with
I mean,
you?
it's fucking George of the Jungle. I don't know what else.
It actually, George the Jungle is number 1.
Yeah, I don't know what else it would be.
Can I be honest with
Yeah.
you, Jeff? I have not been putting the music in a lot of the latest episodes.
What?
Yeah.
Stuart.
I haven't had a lot of time to edit, so I leave him out. Sorry.
Stop fucking rushing him, Jeff. Why are you rushing him to get these episodes out?
Hey, we're on a 2
You're not
we're on a
letting.
2
You're
week
not
delay
letting
at
his
this point.
artistic. You know what I'm saying. You're trying to fucking market this shit and get it out there.
Jeff,
you're not letting it gestate.
We can talk about something off mic.
Okay,
There's some. We can talk about something off mic about it.
that's fine. Put fucking Monkeybone on this list.
I forgot I had Sinbad at the bottom. So should I do 2 looks for this one? The Monkeybone stew and the stew?
What do you think, Mark?
Because Monkeybone stew is going to the fucking bottom.
Below Sinbad?
Above Sinbad.
Okay, above Sinbad.
Below in the army now.
Remember Sinbad?
I don't want to. I have to do
This
insert-
movie gives me a headache.
What gives you a headache?
This fucking movie gives me a headache. And I wish it didn't. I wish it made me feel good and happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't you want that from movies?
You do want that from movies.
Don't you want to not be stressed out when you watch movies?
Yeah.
It just, you're
Remember-
like
Mark,
not stressed out
remember
going
last
into it,
night-
and then you watch the movie, and then you get really stressed out when you get into it, and then you finish watching the movie,
What about the
and then
other
you come to
Monkey?
your friend Jeff's house, and you
Can't
talk
see
about
those
the movie
two.
that stressed you out, and talking about the movie stresses you out.
Yeah. So I put Monkeybone Possessed as like second to last, just above Sinbad, Beyond the Veil of Mist. The other one is pretty regular.
It's pretty regular. I think the best version of it is at the very end when he's by the fountain. And he kind of gets to flick his hair for a second.
I'm gonna
He
put
gets to
that
flick
one
it.
above Twilight of the Golds,
Ooh.
number 6.
Number 6.
So what is it? It's George, Airheads, Rick O'Connell. I don't know. It's a great look. It's very. It's sort of like
I'll run through it.
He's got his parted bangs. What do you call it? You know, it's the
Yeah. It's the
like a
McDonald's
parted-
thing, kind of.
yeah.
McDonald's thing.
No, it's like the Disney boy look. You know, he's got that Disney boy sort of open forehead,
Yeah.
hair on the side look.
Right. So the finger in the ass Monkeybone doll.
Yes.
I'd buy it.
Well, so
I'd buy it. Cool
so
toy.
Monkeybone Stew has his plan. He's gonna get the nightmare juice from Julie.
Yeah.
There's a whole scene that we'll talk about, but he's gonna get the juice from Julie's sleep specialist, inject it into all the Monkeybone dolls'
A lot
asses.
of juice. He does it in his garage, by the way.
He does it in his
funny.
garage.
It's really funny. All the toys that are gonna go all over the
it's all
world.
purple.
He has them all in his garage.
Yeah, and it's all purple juice.
Yeah.
There's a funny scene where, like, the intro scenes of, like, possessed Monkeybone Stew, there's a scene where, like, Julie's in the shower.
Yeah. Oh, I did like this.
And
this
you think the camera's gonna pan back, and you think it's gonna be a classic 2000s shot where, like, the Monkeybone Stew's like goo goo gaga over her showering, but instead it reveals a TV, and it's monkeys having sex.
Yeah.
Then you just see possessed Stu Miley, like, basically frothing at the mouth.
No, because we
it.
keep cutting between her silhouette in the shower and him on the bed going, but then you reveal that he's just watching like Animal Planet of monkeys getting down to business.
His Pornhub search must be very interesting. Yeah. Delete that search history.
Yes.
But he's not limited to it because 2 minutes later she comes in the room and he's
gun ho. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's got the monkey bone.
Yeah.
He's ready to monkey bone. He does like he goes into the George of the Jungle
then
stance.
I wake up and there you were, like a lion whisper, looking for.
You're not singing that song.
I got the fucking lyrics all wrong. Dela from George of the Jungle.
Yeah. So
Dela,
anyway, but to fast forward, so Stu Miley in the downtown world is down in the dumps. He's in prison. Rose McGowan Kitty is all of a sudden trying to get him out because she was in on the plan but felt bad about it. Everybody in downtown was in on this plan about prisoning Stu and possessing his body with Monkeybone. But Rose McGowan's Kitty breaks him out. There's a ferocious scene where she's eating a mouse guard.
Yes. She eats. Oh gosh, no, no!
Step away, Stu.
She eats Mickey Mouse.
Gosh, I don't know why I'm getting eaten in this movie.
So,
imagine that.
So Stu gets out. He goes to the underworld. He finds Whoopi Goldberg and pleads his case.
Yes. I frequently go to Whoopi Goldberg and plead my case whenever I need something.
Whoopi Goldberg, who's like...
I'm like, Whoopi, what's up? She's like, come on The View.
And, like, because he has unfinished business to, like, tell the woman he loves that he loves her, she decides you can get 1 hour. I was watching this, and I thought I heard them say something about you have an hour.
That does happen.
But then it's definitely more than an hour.
Yeah.
He's in this, like, body. He's like, I'll give you what you can get. There's not a lot of corpses you can take over nowadays.
Yeah.
So we go through with, like, Monkeybone possessed Stu. He's implanted all the juice, nightmare juice, and all the butts of the Monkeybone dolls.
As one does.
There's a grand, like, museum, like, speech that's happening. And Monkeybone Stu is, like, getting ready to, like... This is the same plot as the 1999 Batman and the 2007 Batman Begins.
2005 Batman Begins, but continue.
2005 Batman Begins.
Continue.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Your fucking place.
Oh, about, like, trying
They're
to
poisoning the water supply with the fear poison.
Covering Gotham in this poison.
But instead, it's going to go to all these Monkeybone dolls.
Wait. No, I got to do my favorite line from Batman Begins.
I know it.
If that train makes it to the mainframe, the whole city's gonna explode. It's just like he's going to the Chicago guy in Wayne Towers, like, oh my god. He's like, fellas, we gotta get out of here. It's gonna the
Jeff.
Fucking water supply's gonna blow.
Jeff, I'm not gonna say his name, but on Chicago PD, we like. Sorry, I said the name of the show. Fuck.
Just cut it out.
I'll just cut that out. We work on a TV show in Chicago that frequently uses the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority, where we work on, like, the train lines and all that shit. And when we do that, we often have to have a CTA rep who's with us. I'm not going to use any names, but this gentleman, he doesn't listen to this podcast, but if he did, he knows who he is right away.
Oh, he's that guy.
Imagine if that guy was casted. This is a very niche joke that no one in their audience can understand, except for people who know this gentleman that I'm talking about who listen to this podcast. Imagine if he was in that 2005 Batman Begins scene. Where it's
Wait, no, here we go.
Hey.
I got it. Okay.
I hope you never planned to make money off this thing.
Here we go. Okay, so this is just Batman. Come on, I want
Well, turn it around and let me at least watch it.
I'm trying to find. Oh, the whole water supply is gonna explode.
We had such a fun time talking about Monkeybone.
It's pretty far into the Roswell
watching
wait.
Batman Begins.
Okay, that's the voice I was looking for. I couldn't find the actual line.
The water main is right under the narrows.
But imagine if it's that other guy that we're talking about. Yeah. The water main is right under the narrows. If that train reaches Gotham Tower.
Right. So he goes to Whoopi Goldberg. He pleads his case, and she's like, "Yeah, take this body."
He wakes up.
Then we go to the good part of the movie.
Yes.
Chris Kattan. Kattan is just crushing it.
His Olympic gymnast outfit on a hospital gurney. And we see...
Is the idea that he was in an accident because he's in his Olympic uniform?
There's a newspaper that says
he died.
Yeah, he snapped his neck.
Performance. And they didn't even take all his gymnast clothes off him.
They just
were like,
organs.
Great. He snapped his head. We're just going to harvest his organs.
Yeah. We see a delicious Bob Odenkirk wearing scrubs. And he's like, all right, so we got this. This will pay off that car loan. We're going to take this. This will pay off your kid's college. And
he's just ripping organs
out. His stomach is fully open.
Yeah.
And his neck is like, they don't even fix his neck.
Yeah.
His neck is like cricked over to the side.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up. He's like, ah! It's like, oh my God. They do not seem very distressed about a body just reanimating on the table.
They're just mad that they couldn't get the rest of the organs.
It is the least of their problems that the body has reanimated. The height of their problems is that those organs are now on the move. They're like, fuck!
See, this is the good stuff.
It really is the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
It really is, though. It really is.
It's like practically Who Let the Dogs Out might start playing. And they all form a caravan, all the doctors with their masks and their scrubs on with their saws.
Yeah,
it's a it's like a war rig in Mad Max full of just doctors.
We're not kidding.
This is a real thing.
Like Kattan, who's just going so hard for this. He's like, his neck is not attached, so he's just bouncing up and down the whole time.
Yeah.
He's running around. His stomach is wide open.
Which he duct tapes it shut.
Yeah, duct tapes it shut. And then he gets like a pole, puts it down his back, then tapes his head to the pole so the thing sits upright. So Kattan's just running around like the T-pose. Meanwhile, he's being chased by a caravan of doctors with saws that are trying to get the rest of the organs out. They chase him to the gala where Monkeybone is attempting to unveil the poison, more or less.
Yeah.
And the doctors are chasing him up the stairs. Bob Odenkirk at the lead. And he uses his gymnast abilities to do somersaults into the museum, where he links up with Julie and is like, "Wait, no!"
This is the 17 again, when Zac Efron goes into the courthouse and reads a letter that her husband, who she doesn't know that Zac Efron is the younger version of her husband, and he reads a letter. Turns out the letter's blank, and it makes her believe that this is a younger version of my husband. It's that moment.
Yeah.
But Kattan
is just crushing it.
He's fucking crushing it.
Stuart, you've seen Nope.
Yes.
That whole scene where Stephen Yeun's just like, Kattan was just crushing it. It was me talking about this movie. It's Kattan. Kattan's playing Gordy.
Just crushing it.
I wonder if Jordan Peele watched Monkeybone before he wrote that scene.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's gotta love Monkeybone.
Well, because he just worked with Selick.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah.
So yeah. So maybe he watched Monkeybone and he was like, "Oh, Kattan's playing an ape in this. He's great." Yeah.
When did Jordan Peele work with Selick for Nope? Or?
He wrote Wendell and Wild.
Oh,
how many Selick's in the movie?
Cool.
That I watched the first 20 minutes of, and I haven't finished it. Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Oh, it's fine. But there's a former guest of the show who hates it. But okay, let me pick up the thread. Okay, so Kattan's like, they have a moment, and she's convinced that Kattan is in fact Stu in this new body. All things considered, it leads to Monkeybone being exposed in front of the crowd, and then Monkeybone runs off, and Stu gives chase.
And there's a beautiful chase sequence.
Yes, a great chase sequence.
Very inventive, actually, I think, and it's pulled off quite well.
There's a lot of fun, choreography. They're running through. I like all the organ stuff.
Yes.
Popping out of his.
Yeah, his tape kind of falls off, and his organs are popping out of his stomach.
And then the kid catches it. And then, what's the line to the kid? The Bob Odenkirk goes, "Hey, kid, that's my organ."
He says like, "Don't touch that." There's one that like flies onto a grill.
And he's like, "It's salvageable. It's salvageable.
Yeah,
Put it on ice."
He's like, "It's salvageable. Put it on ice." And like the guy's trying to serve it up as a burger. One of them goes under a lawnmower. It's such a good chase scene because like the core of it is Monkeybone and Stu, like Fraser and Catan. But there's this whole second element of Bob Odenkirk trying to catch the organs as they fall out. That's so good. It ends with them jumping onto a Monkeybone inflatable balloon.
Yeah.
Like a big like parade float balloon. Mm-hmm. And they're hanging onto it and they have a fight.
Yeah.
And it ends with them both falling.
Yeah. And how does the monkey balloon get away? They pop a hole in its butt.
Yeah.
No, an officer, a police officer's like, "I can hit it," pulls out his gun and just shoots it.
And it goes right into the sky.
Yeah. And they crashes and they both die.
Oh, well, they go to
They both go in like a weird. They both go back to downtown.
Yeah, they go to downtown,
souls.
and a big robot Whoopi Goldberg
in a mecha Zord
emerges and catches them. And then Whoopi pops out and she's like, "You got to go back," but now you figured out, and she combines them.
Yeah. Now I put Monkeybone in your head
where he belongs.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'd be great if the whole movie was building to that conclusion.
You know, Nope does end with a chase scene involving an inflatable, so
it does.
You might be onto something. Yeah,
that's true.
About it.
That's true.
Okay. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
No, it does. You're correct.
Yep.
Nope's such. I'm gonna watch Nope again. I wish we could just talk about Nope instead of Monkeybone. Yeah, that's basically the ending. He comes back and he shaves off his soul patch, and then he and Julie reunite, and they don't have frisky sex like Monkeybone one.
Nope. They never will.
Yeah. They'll have.
Yeah, I don't.
They'll have respectful, consensual sex.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you mentioned the Whoopi smashing him and Monkeybone together, and I don't know what that's meant to mean. If anything,
the end of the movie is someone saying like, "Oh, David Foley looks in the camera and yells at the audience to
take your clothes off,
take your clothes off." For some
clothes
fucking
are
reason.
attacking. Well, because he gets infected with the nightmare fuel, and he has a nightmare that the clothes are attacking him. So he streaks naked through the museum.
And then we got like a little.
Not the first time we're gonna see a naked Dave Foley.
Yeah.
And then it's people taking their clothes off.
Yeah, and then we got a little 30-second animated sequence of a bunch of people taking their clothes off and Monkeybone just popping out of them, revealing that there's a little Monkeybone in everyone. It'd be great if the movie built to that conclusion.
Yeah,
it'd be great if that was set up.
Yeah.
You know what? This might be bold to say, but you know what I like in movies? Set up and pay off. I like that.
I don't know.
I'm not really big into just set up or just pay off. I tend to like
set up and pay off
both at once.
You're a huge Chekhov's gun fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, Chekhov's butthole in this movie.
Yeah, Chekhov's butthole.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So did you like it, Stuart? You seem to have retained a lot of it, though.
Well, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the episode, which is like, this is a very frustrating movie.
Yeah.
It's a very frustrating movie that you can see a lot of the missed opportunities that it had before it, because I feel like on paper, this had the makings of a great movie.
Yeah.
And it just completely missed the mark on multiple avenues. It would have been great if there was like one sliver, because I've watched movies where it's like they're not great overall, but they usually get like one or two scenes that like kind of capture what you want the whole movie to be like.
Yeah.
This movie does not do that, really.
No. And
it's every scene is just 1% off or 10% off.
And for as much as you did remember, and we talked about it, like Fraser doesn't come up a lot.
No.
He doesn't come up a lot. He doesn't kind of like...
He doesn't stand out.
He doesn't stand out. He doesn't sort of leave any impression. And he should. He should either be like so fucking weird that you're like, I don't know what to make of his performance.
Yeah.
But you kind of, that's not even the reaction you have.
I feel like I've seen it all before.
Yeah.
What Fraser's doing here.
Bedazzled.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't seen Bedazzled in so long. I don't know what's his deal in Bedazzled.
It has like multiple different personalities.
The most sensitive man in the world in Bedazzled is kind of just the character he's playing here. or should be playing here, where like she's losing interest in him because he's too sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I want to talk about this movie. Is this movie coming out?
Oh yeah.
This movie comes out February 23rd of 2001. It comes out in February. It has it makes total $5 million.
So it's like a date night release.
Yeah,
it's like it
makes $5 million in the U.S. and 7.6 worldwide on a budget of $75 million. Damn. It loses upwards of probably $100 million when you add in marketing.
Yeah,
and
that sound you hear
shit.
was the fucking doors in the jail closing on Selick. Right there. Jesus.
Well, it's very sad because
It was
after this he hadn't done anything in like until Coraline. Really,
11 years.
He doesn't.
He's done some stuff,
8
but
years,
like
because Coraline's 2009, right?
Oh, 9 or 12. 9 maybe.
Yeah.
so
Because he does Coraline, and then he doesn't do anything until Wendell and Wild, which just came out.
Well, I mean, he does a little Life Aquatic. I think he was originally on Fantastic Mr. Fox, probably, and then he goes for somebody else.
Yeah,
so he's kind of bouncing around and not.
Yeah, he's visual effects on Life Aquatic.
He has some stuff at Disney that doesn't fall through. Shadow King.
Yeah, all his things fall through.
Yeah, he's at Pixar. Pixar hires him. He worked on something at Pixar, like a stop motion thing.
Yeah, and they fire him.
Wasn't
it Coraline? Or was it Wendell and Wild?
Was it Shadow King at Pixar?
Was it Shadow
King?
King?
Something else maybe Shadow King. I don't know. I don't know much about that, but
I'm trying to find the evidence of this. The work with Pixar, yes. He joined Pixar in 2010 in a long-term contract for stop-motion films. He's going to make Shade Maker. It's going to come out in 2013, and then it gets retitled The Shadow King.
Shadow King.
Then Disney cancels it in 2012 because they fucking hate working with Henry Selick. He gets the option to... He apparently got the rights to Shadow King last year, and he might revive it, is what he says.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would like to see it.
I would like to see it. Does it sort of feel like the door on Fraser's movie star career is shutting after this and Bedazzled and
because he's gonna have
Mummy.
He's gonna have the Mummy Returns come out.
Yeah, because I would say not yet.
Not yet.
It is like we are seeing the hand at the door.
But it's, even though they're unintentional follow-ups to his big success, they're not like. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
after the Mummy Returns, he still gets the Quiet American.
Looney Tunes. He gets
Tunes
Crash.
back in action. Crash.
Crash is in some ways kind of like a
Yeah.
peak for him because he wants to be a serious actor. I'm not saying it's a peak of cinema by any means.
I personally feel like it's the back-to-back failure of Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor,
Inkheart and Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yes.
Well, Journey does okay because they make a sequel with The
I
Rock.
feel like by the time Inkheart comes around, the door is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Inkheart's the last gasp.
It's
Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor is a desperate plea to like hold the door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the door is shut by then because he does that and Vice doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And
After Crash is when it closes.
the door is...
Yeah.
It doesn't crash shut, but it's closing.
Because
Like Inkheart's when it closes.
Yeah, Inkheart's the last gasp, and then G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra he's in as like a favor. Like Summers throws him a bone.
It's worth...
it's like a...
Which the next movie you're going to be on
But
for.
the cameo in that is if we'd made this movie in the 90s like we should have, it would have been Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
He'd been playing G.I. Joe.
And he missed the shot.
I think
But,
it's
like,
worth noting.
Am I on G.I. Joe?
What?
I'm on G.I.
Yeah,
Joe.
you're on G.I. Joe.
Hell yeah.
I think
Seven,
it's worth
baby.
noting that the door does close on Fraser, but it doesn't slam shut. Fraser doesn't have a...
I mean, it kind of gets bolted shut for a few years there.
Well, hold on. He doesn't have a Battlefield Earth. Right?
Yeah, nothing that terribly.
That's what I mean.
He has a lot of goodwill.
It's a lot of like movies where we can see he's trying and it's not like colossal flops.
Yeah.
He has a lot of goodwill, which is what keeps him going.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll get there eventually, but it seems like at some point some pretty terrible things happen to him in Hollywood, and I think he just decides to
take a breath from it all.
Yeah, he gets away from it all because it's very toxic and
and like he suffers
a
a lot
very
of back
toxic person.
injuries.
Yeah. And he gets very injured.
All of his like.
That's why he can't do the big mummy movies anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're like strapping him together by the time.
Yeah, the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor comes.
That's why they have to have a
box of ice.
Yeah.
That they put him in.
You know, like we talk about like Fraser taking like a time off, but I mean, if you really look at his filmography, though, he doesn't really take much time off.
He is not in a movie for a good few years.
Yes. The last movie he's in is in 2014, The Nut Job. And then he's in 5 episodes of Texas Rising, 6 episodes of The Affair, 1 episode of Nightcap, 8 episodes of Trust, 7 episodes of Condor, 1 episode of Titans, 2018, and then
The Poison Rose.
He's in The Poison Rose. So there is a 5-year feature film gap.
Yeah.
But 5 episodes on a TV show is like
it's substantial, but he's not like the main character in those shows.
Right.
He's playing like the 7th or 8th, so he doesn't have to work every day. Because at this time, like, we'll talk about it when we get to it, but like, he gets sexually assaulted and he's suffering from a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
And so he cannot really just like, no one in Hollywood's going to hire him because he gets blacklisted. So he has to just work in TV and he has to work like an undemanding schedule. It's really a sad story when we get to it.
It is.
It's so sad. And it's why, even if I have, I'll say I have some problems with The Whale, his comeback movie, I'm incredibly happy for him.
Yeah.
I actually like The Whale, but we're going to talk about it.
We do also get to talk about Line of Descent, which is just kind of insane.
What's that?
He goes and he makes a Bollywood movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Look at this. He's the only non-Indian actor in the movie. I think it's cool.
In what movie?
Line of Descent.
Oh.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh boy.
But I think that's Monkeybone. I think we've said our piece about Monkeybone. Anyone else have any more bones to pick?
Good one. Nope.
I don't know if it's a thumb down or a thumb up. I think it's a thumb up my butt.
Yeah, it's a thumb.
It's a thumb.
It's a singular thumb.
It's a thumbs down for me, but it's a begrudged thumbs down. I wish this movie was good.
A sideways thumb.
Yeah.
I would like to pull the thumb out of my ass and release like the nightmare gas, but unfortunately that nightmare gas is going to be bloated up.
I think the fact that there's like lots of like there's not like a huge like Monkeybone cult following, midnight screening Monkeybone, super yaki t-shirt Monkeybone speaks a lot to its sort of like puzzling quality, Yeah,
there's not like people who are like, it's actually secretly pretty good. It doesn't have
I'm sure, there are, but like it's not like enough to like really revive it. I don't think it's getting revived. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what? Give me Monkeybone. I'll make a good one.
You want Monkeybone?
I'll take Monkeybone. I'll make a good Monkeybone.
What are some of your notes you wrote down in your book? Did you hit
I did
them
not
all?
write enough notes.
I stopped. I stopped. I was just like, oh, this is kind of sad.
Here are my notes. I'll speed run them. Erection, Herb blocking kiss, Shadow Realm, glad Max Rebo still getting work, insane composite work, John Carlo, Monkeybone possession, monkey sex on TV, Dave Foley. Those are my notes for this movie.
Nice.
And you remembered the plot verbatim, so
I'm just good at that.
You are good at that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Thank you folks so much for joining us for this episode on Monkeybone. Make sure to tune next week for episode on The Mummy Returns, joined by my sister, making her Travolting debut.
Who I finally get to meet.
Yeah, Stuart finally got to meet my family. He's very excited about it. He talks about it a lot on that episode.
I did.
Yeah. And as always, what?
One Timer Club. That's all I got to say. Sorry.
One Timer Club.
I haven't met your sister, but One Timer Club.
Yeah, like 6-timer over here. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. As a reminder, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Pop star Reddit r/Travolting. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at TravoltingPod. Email us TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter at Jeff W. Sweeney.
Are you gonna do variations for that? Do a lower one.
Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you listen on. As a reminder, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Pop into our Reddit, r/Travolting, Find us on Twitter or Instagram at TravoltoingPod. You fucked it up.
I thought you were going to do Jeff Sweeney.
As always, special thanks to Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design, Michael Van Bodegum Smith for our theme music, and Ange Gardner for our social media. Tune in next week for The Mummy Returns.
Monkeybone.